Today we are going to change out the exhaust on a 2019 Honda Rebel CMX 500. If you want to skip the boring installation and go straight to the startup sound test, go to this time code. If you want to skip the sound test and go straight to the road test, go to this time code. I will put these time codes in the description box below. Let's do this. Now, if you're new to motorcycle maintenance, you might think, oh man, I could never change out an exhaust. I'd have to take it to a licensed mechanic and get a proper shop to do it. It's easy. Slip-on exhaust replacements are exactly what the name suggests. The old exhaust just slips off, new one just slips on. We're not changing the catalytic converter, that's forward from here. We're not touching the exhaust headers, that's on the engine. We're just taking off the tailpipe, the muffler itself. Dead easy. All you need is a wrench and about 20 minutes of time. Anybody can do it. Now, if you're really paying attention here, you might notice that this particular Honda Rebel has already had an exhaust replacement. This is not the stock exhaust. The stock exhaust on this bike is kind of ugly. One of the only things I don't like about the newer Honda Rebels. So this spring, I replaced it with this guy that I got off Amazon. This is a Fidency exhaust. I got it from China. They're cheap, but super duper loud. Way too loud. So today, we're going to be replacing it with this guy. Ordered all the way from Australia. This is the Musari GP Street exhaust for the Honda CMX 500, also for the CMX 300. And the nice thing about the Musari is that it has a removable baffle. This is the silencer. If you take this little knob off, there's a little Allen key in there. You can take that bolt out and this thing slides out. You can turn it into a straight pipe. I'm not going to do that because the whole goal here is to make it less noisy, not more noisy. So there's two bolts. One here on the passenger foot peg mount and one here on the header side. Once you remove those bolts, the old one literally just slips right off, just like that. Super duper easy. Now, take the new exhaust, just slip it right on. Now, an easy mistake to make is to think that this mounting bracket goes on this outside of this mount point. It does not. It goes in behind. You want to tuck it close to the bike so that if you put your leg down when you're stopped, you don't accidentally burn your calf because this thing will heat up like nobody's business. You want to tuck it in as close to the bike as you can get it. Now, the thing about the Fidency that kind of got on my nerves, I don't know if the camera's going to show this, but if you look down the barrel there, there's nothing even approaching a baffle in there, nothing to dampen the noise. It's sexy, it matches the bike really well, but it is crazy loud. Too loud. I'm hoping this, with the baffle in place, is going to be a little more reasonable. Still louder than the stock exhaust, but not so loud that you wake up the dead every time you drive down the street. Okay, startup sound test. Now, somewhere on my hard drive, I have a video of the startup sound of the stock exhaust. I don't have a decibel meter, so we're just going to have to use the camera mic as kind of a rough gauge of what these things sound like. So if I can find that footage, I'm going to put it right here. Now, somewhere, I also have footage of the startup sound of the Fidency exhaust. Let's hear that one. And now, I've not tested this yet, but it's on there good. So let's do a startup sound test of the Musari. You know what? That's just about right. I think it's somewhere in between the stock exhaust and the Fidency. It's louder than the stock, and it's got a nice grumble to it, but it doesn't sound as loud as this Fidency one. So, what I'd like to do is take it out on the road and test it out for real. But I've got to clean up all this mess. You know what? Through the magic of video editing, we're just going to cut. And we're back. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, always obey your local speed limits. But having said that, oh yeah, come on! Come on, yeah, woo! Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's definitely in between, in terms of volume, it's in between the stock exhaust and the Fidency. It's got a nice low growl to it, you can hear it, but it's not rattling my eardrums. It's perfect, it's just perfect, I love it. I just put it on 5 minutes ago and I love it. Already so much better than that last one. Taking the curve. Oh yeah, nice low growl to it. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. All right, let's slow down for the playground zone. All right, so let's sum it up. Stock exhaust. Pros, it comes with the bike, so it doesn't cost you a dime extra. And it's quiet. You won't bother your neighbors. You can ride through residential neighborhoods even late at night. You're not going to bother anybody. Cons, it's kind of fat, kind of ugly, and it's maybe a little too quiet. Other drivers on the road aren't necessarily going to hear you. I've had people change right into my lane because they didn't know I was right beside them, which should never happen on a motorcycle. Feidense, pros, it was dirt cheap. I think it was less than $100 Canadian, even with shipping all the way from China. It's dead sexy. It matches the bike really well, as long as your bike is blacked out like mine. Cons, holy cow, it is loud. It is super duper crazy loud. Like, you can't even ride around the block without earplugs kind of loud. Now, that might be a selling point if you're like a Harley guy or you're just like loud motorcycles in general, but maybe you don't want to ride around with earplugs, and maybe you don't want to keep everybody awake at night when you're riding around late at night. So, Musari, pros. It sounds great. I love it. I mean, I haven't been riding it for very long, but it sounds great. It's loud enough to hear it when you give it a little throttle, but it's not obnoxiously loud. It's perfect. Pro for Musari also is that it has that removable baffle. If this is not loud enough for you, you could take that baffle right out. It turns it into a straight pipe, just like the Feidense. I imagine this would be just as loud as the Feidense if you did that. Cons, it's a little pricey. This one was almost $400 Canadian if you include shipping all the way from Australia, which is about as much as I'd ever want to spend on an exhaust. But man, so far, after just a few minutes, I'd say it's totally worth it. I like this a lot. This is perfect. And there you have it. Remember, always ride safe, and we'll see you next time.